We're starting with WrestleMania 40 Sunday, and Seth Rollins walked into the show's opening match with plenty of battle scars from the previous night's tag match against the Bloodline. Rollins' decision to fight the faction alongside Cody Rhodes proved to be his undoing, as Drew McIntyre took advantage of Seth's injuries and literally kicked off the match with a Claymore. McIntyre was not at all concerned with Rollins' other shenanigans, as he had probably envisioned would work in his favor, and targeted every damaged piece of Rollins' body. This all unfolded as the pair's other heated rival, CM Punk, watched from the commentary booth, and this opener was a spectacular showdown between two of WWE's very best. As the conclusion drew near, McIntyre hit Seth Rollins with 2 consecutive Claymore kicks and pinned Rollins for the 3 count to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. McIntyre celebrated with his wife at ringside before mocking CM Punk at the commentary table, and the irate ex-AEW star had had enough and laid Drew flat out on the table. Punk proceeded to remove his cast and attack the new World Heavyweight Champion, and it appears Punk's injury was far more healed than he was letting on during the night. However, it should be noted that Punk used his left hand to attack McIntyre and not his right, the injured hand, so he was still showing some restraint. At that moment, Damian Priest ran to the ring and cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on a beaten Drew, planting him with a chokeslam and winning his first ever World Championship. Priest stole Drew's destiny from underneath him, and with his win, became the first Puerto Rican World Heavyweight Champion in WWE in over 50 years. Pedro Morales was the World Heavyweight Champion for 1,027 days, from February 8, 1971 to December 1, 1973, and his reign is the longest of any superstar of Latino descent. In a video backstage, Priest was embraced by Triple H, and the new World Heavyweight Champion told the CCO, "Thank you for believing in me." This is undoubtedly the biggest moment in Priest's career, and given his NXT background, it's no secret that Triple H has played a deep role in the career of the new World Champion. Priest had held the Money in the Bank briefcase for close to 300 days, and had tried to cash in before, but had failed at every attempt to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Whether it was Seth Rollins' injury layoff or storyline timing, the stars never seemed to align for Priest, and that was until WrestleMania 40. The show allowed for Rollins to get his WrestleMania entrance as world champion, and McIntyre to get his world title win in front of fans, meaning WWE gave both men what they needed. With both men getting a big moment, all that was needed was for Priest to get his, as WrestleMania 40 was simply the right time for his successful cash-in. Having lost the Undisputed tag titles the prior night, Priest winning on Sunday also helped his credibility, and we'll have to see where he stands in WWE as the new champion. Of course, no reign lasts forever, and one day Priest will be beaten for the gold, and we could already know when his title change will happen. The fact that Priest dethroned McIntyre and not Seth Rollins has raised a lot of questions, with speculation being that the rematch with Drew will be at Clash at the Castle. WWE announced earlier this month that the second ever Clash event will take place in Glasgow, Scotland on June 15th, and fans expect McIntyre to be a major name on the card. McIntyre got his deserved moment at WrestleMania, only to see it be snatched away because he let himself be distracted by his obsession with CM Punk. What better redemption story is there than for McIntyre to win the gold back, this time in his home country, which would explain why his win at Mania had to be cut short. Drew could perhaps feud with CM Punk in the time between now and Clash at the Castle before turning his attention to Priest in time for WWE's first Scottish PLE. On Instagram, Punk poked fun at Drew's situation, sharing a photoshopped image of himself posing at the grave of McIntyre's brief World Heavyweight title reign. It's clear that McIntyre and Punk will continue to feud, but as all plans with the straight-edge superstar, everything hinges on his injury and recovery. Going into WrestleMania 40, the US title reign of Logan Paul was in serious jeopardy as he was set to defend against both Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. The two former world champions had even been on the same page, such as their disdain for Paul, but it was the Maverick who stood tall in Philadelphia. Paul had put down a few opponents in his reign so far, but this was the first time he put up the title in a multi-man match against two Hall of Fame contenders. Orton and Owens arrived together, with the prizefighter driving a cart with Orton on the back to the ring, and admittedly at a speed Orton seemed not too thrilled with. As we'd seen on TV, Owens and Orton were allies, and Paul tried to turn the two against each other, only for them to team up on him again in a hilarious move. Together, the faces dished out a vicious beating on Paul, but things broke down when they acknowledged that it was every man for themselves. With the Prime Hydration logo displayed as the center ring sponsor, the pressure was on Paul to retain, and the Maverick hit a thunderous punch on Randy Orton, who was able to kick out. Orton then hit an RKO, but Logan kicked out, and an attempted punt kick was thwarted by the Prime mascot, who revealed himself to be I Show Speed. Orton dispatched of the YouTuber with an RKO on the announcer's table, and while Paul regained a brief advantage, Kevin Owens reemerged to snuff that out. The closing moments of the bout saw Randy Orton reversing the pop-up powerbomb into an awe-inspiring RKO to Kevin Owens, only for Logan Paul to move him out of the way. Paul then capitalized on Owens to get the win and retain in a match with great spots, funny moments, and creative offense from all three. Any complaints about the match are minor, as Paul continues to impress in the ring. And do you think he should have retained? Let us know in the comments below. Now, this year's WrestleMania was indeed historic for many reasons, including being the first WrestleMania ever without Vince McMahon in charge. While fans and wrestlers have spoken about things changing for the better without McMahon, not everyone is ready to move on. On Instagram, Vince's trainer Michael Monteforte said that McMahon was unable to attend his first WrestleMania and said that those who say they love Vince have turned their backs on him. Monteforte added that people shouldn't judge a man without getting all the facts, and added that things aren't always as they appear, but stopped short of giving specific examples. McMahon is under federal investigation following the public revelation of the Janelle Grant lawsuit, so it's hardly a surprise WWE didn't want to welcome him back for WrestleMania. There was a McMahon on night 2 though, as the show opened with Stephanie McMahon, who reflected on a change in WWE before ushering in what she called the Paul Levesque era. On Twitter, CJ Perry expressed her excitement to see Stephanie at WrestleMania, and the AEW star called her a legend and an icon, while also revealing she'd attended WrestleMania. Vince McMahon is gone and there's no names in WWE defending him, and we'll continue to follow the lawsuit against the billionaire very closely. Match 3 of WrestleMania Sunday was between AJ Styles and LA Knight in one of the few standard singles matches with no grand prize on the line. Styles debuted a new theme song, but didn't give it much time to play as he ran to the ring and the match got started right away, and this genuinely felt like a grudge match. Knight had every right to be upset after Styles flew to Australia to attack him inside the Elimination Chamber, and this was one of the show's more unpredictable matches. Neither man had a clear advantage or more to lose, so neither outcome would have been surprising, and the most surprising thing was how well this match was structured. Given their talent, nobody expected a bad performance, but Knight and Styles were determined to make sure that this standard singles match was not overlooked. The pair did just that, and after countering the phenomenal forearm, Knight won with the BFT. Former allies Bayley and Io Sky battled over the WWE Women's Championship, with both women being given great entrances ahead of locking up. The pair were all business in the ring, with Bayley scoring the first takedown to send Sky out of the ring to regroup with her damage control cohorts. Once Sky took control, she began to focus on the same leg Bayley had problems with for years, and this was a competitive back-and-forth fight with a few standout spots. On a card of mayhem and chaos, it was impressive how these two superstars made a normal match with no weapons or interference feel important, a testament to the work of both women. Both women had some creative counters to finishers, but when the dust settled, it was Bayley who got the pin to become the new women's champion, and this was great from start to finish. WrestleMania is an annual spotlight on the top names in WWE and entertainment, but a literal spotlight proved to be a huge issue for the fans in Philadelphia last night. During the Knight vs. Styles match, a bright spotlight aimed at the fans hampered the viewing experience for many fans, who broke out an "F you light" to let WWE know of the issue. Nevertheless, WrestleMania 40 was a huge success for WWE, though certain fans may have a headache thanks to being blared with a spotlight throughout the Sunday show. WrestleMania 40 did not go exactly as WWE had first planned, as up until the Royal Rumble, the plan had been for a World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Speaking at the WrestleMania Sunday Countdown, Triple H spoke about Punk's return and what he told the superstars following Punk's comeback at Survivor Series. He said, I'm sure there was a lot of mixed emotions, controversial guy, and I'm sure, let me just say, over the next day or two, I had a lot of very interesting private conversations with a lot of people just to air their differences, and we all got to an amicable place, and I can say this about CM Punk, this is a completely different CM Punk than he was when he had left. It's all been positive. He's been nothing but a wonderful employee and nothing but a wonderful addition to the team. You know, look, it's been so refreshing in a way working with him that we have been keeping him a part of everything even while he's out injured. So it's been great. So far, Punk's conduct has been exemplary, and Triple H is certainly hoping things stay like this. But what do you make of Punk's return so far? Let us know down below. In the Philadelphia street fight, The Pride took on the Final Testament, and it's wild that this was Paul Ellering's first WrestleMania. The Philly street fight also featured a special guest referee, as Bubba Ray Dudley was called upon to officiate, and Lashley and the Prophet sent their opponents out of the ring to get started. B-Fab and Scarlett ended up getting physical, as there were no DQs, and we saw kendo sticks, trash cans, and chairs be used as weapons by both teams. Cross ended up getting in Bubba's face when he counted a near fall, but Lashley used the opportunity to hit a spear, turning the tide in the Pride's favor. Ford and Dawkins did some signature Dudley Boys taunts and moves, much to the delight of the Philly crowd, and not even a failed table spot could stop this match's momentum. It was funny though to see the table break merely by Cross being placed on it, and after that failed attempt, Ford hit a frog splash on Cross through a much tougher table to get the win. This was a fun bit of chaos that didn't overstay its welcome and gave people who deserved a spot on the WrestleMania card a high-profile outing. WrestleMania Sunday featured the most anticipated match of the entire card in the main event, as Cody Rhodes took on Universal Champion Roman Reigns in Bloodline Rules. Both men had epic entrances fit for an event of this magnitude, as Brandi Rhodes made an appearance with her husband, while Reigns had an orchestra play him to the ring. With a massive edge of no definition for the Bloodline Rules stipulation, Cody Rhodes had a huge task ahead of him, and the match was slow and lengthy with oodles of storytelling. There was, as to be expected, plenty of false finishes to build anticipation, and both Reigns and Rhodes used the finishers of the other, but couldn't get the pin that way. Jimmy Uso tried to interfere, but Jey Uso came out to Cody's aid, taking both men out of the picture. Solo Sikoa also came out, but the returning John Cena helped keep things one-on-one. The excitement went off the limit when The Rock came out and came face-to-face with Cena in shades of their glorious past at the Showcase of the Immortals. Seth Rollins coming out to the Shield's theme song in gear was another great bit of storytelling, but the former world champion was dispatched off with surprising ease. Soon after Roman Reigns and The Rock took everyone out, The Undertaker made his appearance and took the final boss out with a chokeslam as the crowd grew more excited. After some of the most amazing moments in the history of the industry, Reigns vs. Rhodes went back to singles action when the American Nightmare took the Tribal Chief down for good. Rhodes finally got the pinfall on Reigns to become the new undisputed WWE Universal Champion, ending the 1,316-day reign of the head of the table. With tears of joy in her eyes, Samantha Irvin emotionally announced the new champion as she, like countless others, were overcome with emotion at seeing what had just taken place. Michael Cole was among those feeling emotional as he spoke about knowing Cody from before his career began, and Rhodes embraced the longtime voice of WWE. With a new champion crowned, Cody Rhodes kicks off a new era in WWE after ending the historic undisputed WWE Championship reign of the Tribal Chief. In a sign of change if there ever was one, Cole, for decades the long-suffering announcer under Vince McMahon, declared, "I love professional wrestling," a term the ex-chairman didn't care for. Rhodes celebrated with his wife and family after the win and brought out Triple H and Bruce Pritchard as two men who have played a huge role in his journey to the top. On the post-show press conference, Rhodes spoke about what it meant to finally win and spoke about the gift he received from Triple H, Nick Khan, and Pritchard when he got backstage. Rhodes showed off the watch that his father Dusty had pawned off so Cody could go to acting school, as the timepiece is around a Rhodes wrist once more. As for Roman Reigns, even in defeat, he made history as he broke Hulk Hogan's record for the most WrestleMania main events, and now sits at 9 matches that have closed out the show. WWE has embarked upon a new era with Triple H leading the charge. It seems like Cody will be the face of the company in this, while Roman is expected to take some time off. After the show went off the air, Reigns had to make his difficult walk to the back, and in fan-recorded footage could be seen hugging his special counsel Paul Heyman. After WrestleMania 40, the term "Thank You Roman" trended on Twitter as fans acknowledged the incredible run of the Tribal Chief. This was an emotional night, the culmination of 3 and some of the most spectacular years in WWE, and could this mark the end of their partnership? Let us know in the comments below. After 3.5 years, Roman Reigns' time on top has ended, and for the man himself, it may be a huge relief to no longer be the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. As eagle-eyed fans spotted, Reigns could be seen smiling as the decisive pinfall was made, perhaps relieved that the pressures of being the man now fall on someone else's shoulders. Perhaps Reigns was simply pleased to give Cody the win Rhodes has deserved for so long. But whatever the reason, Reigns was able to see the good in the biggest defeat of his career. As we mentioned, The Undertaker appeared during the main event in a moment that stunned countless fans, but some may have had an inkling that his appearance was coming. When Cody went to grab a weapon from under the ring, a tattooed arm could be seen slinking away, revealing that somebody was going to be making a surprise instant appearance. It certainly appears that Undertaker was hiding under the ring, but though his spot may have been spoiled, this doesn't make it any less fun. One name fans didn't see at WrestleMania 40 was Brock Lesnar, who was pulled from plans due to being connected to the Janelle Grant lawsuit. During the WrestleMania Saturday press conference, Triple H was asked about Lesnar's status with WWE and said that Brock is not gone from the company, but instead is sat at home. It remains to be seen when, if ever, WWE use Lesnar again, but while some fans thought they'd seen the last of the beast, he's not been cut from the company just yet. During WrestleMania, WWE announced that King and Queen of the Ring will take place in Saudi Arabia on May 25th, a year after plans for the tournament were nixed. Instead, WWE hosted Night of Champions in May 2023 to mark 1,000 days of Roman Reigns' title run. And who do you want to see be crowned King and Queen of the Ring? WrestleMania 40 Sunday was a bad night for the Bloodline, but PW Insider reports that a member of the family, Jacob Fatu, was backstage at the show. It was added that Fatu has officially signed with WWE, and it'll be interesting to see what he does in this unprecedented time for the Bloodline. And we're ending with, what else, WrestleMania, as not every planned segment for the 2-night event made it to the broadcast. As Fightful Select reports, there was plans for Lita and Trish Stratus to be involved in the segment with the Hall of Fame 2024 class, but that was nixed for unspecified reasons. Trish and Lita were both at the Hall of Fame ceremony, and while they didn't appear in a key role this year, we're sure WWE will bring back the two legends soon enough.